woman who's been called Chicago's most devastating gift to the world since Al Capone. Strong men quail at her salvos of scorn. Strong quail shed their feathers under the lash of her sarcasm. Let's see what the world looks like this week to Ruby Wax. Ruby, Pamela Anderson was in town this week. Now, tell me truthfully, wouldn't you like to be her?
Well, I auditioned for Baywatch. I don't know if you know that. I put a little piece of dental floss between my legs. My flanks jiggle too much, and if your flanks jiggle, they throw you to the sharks. Out of there. The flanks got to stay hard. I mean, you got to be able to write your name with a pen in those buttocks, and then you're in. Because nobody has heads in Baywatch. It's just flanks flapping. Have you seen that? And they don't use, like, remember they used to use inner tubes to rescue people? But it gets in the way of the meat, so now they just carry the clutch bag. Oh, what's that going to do to anybody? It's a clutch bag. But it's good she doesn't save anybody, because if she gave anybody mouth to mouth, they'd take one bite of those lips and the collagen would kill them. Out.
She's been a big hit at the Cannes Film Festival. You've been at the Cannes Film Festival.
I have been to the Cannes Film Festival.
What do you make of it?
Well, it is the ego fest of ego fests. I mean, if you're in the light of the lens, then you have meaning on planet Earth, and people worship. But then suddenly you go, yeah, maybe I'm not the jerk I thought I was. Bridget Nielsen steps out from behind, and suddenly your head is used as a footstool. There's always, you ever see on the Croisette, you sit there, and there's restaurants on the Croisette, and this is traditional.
This is along the front of the beach, right?
I use these words like they should know.
Croisette, you've obviously been there many times.
Croisette, I speak the language. It's a bunch of beach. There's some sand, and they put the restaurants there, and you sit on the beach, and these babes come out. They come every year. They're like 65 years old. They take their tops off, and they pose nude on your table with the paparazzi going insane, right? But these broads are like, they have a picture of what they used to look like pinned. And they're like sagging into your niçoise. You're going, put a bra on, for God's sake. There's 8,000 nubiles, but they're clicking at these women.
Any other big stars going to Cannes this year?
Well, if somebody's going to outdo, what's her name, Pamela? So quickly we forget.
That was it. Pamela, what was it? Pamela Anderson.
Well, she's showing so much this year that when Hurley comes down, I heard she's going to have to wear her pancreas as earmuffs. Or hold up an X-ray.
There was an astonishing story this week. You saw it in every paper, I'm sure, of the plane passenger whose life was saved in midair by the emergency operation with the coat hanger and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, they used a coat hanger, they used a felt-tip pen, they used a bottle, they used a straw, and a hanger, the hanger. So the bad news is she didn't survive, but the good news is she's immobile. Damien Hirst made her into art. It's all fine now.
You've been in emergencies on aircraft?
I have been in emergencies. You've never been in emergencies?
I may have caused one inadvertently.
But some guy had a heart attack on my plane, and you always think the stewards are really trained to be very cool about it, and they are not cool at all. He turned white, he turned blue, I said, I don't want the color scheme. And I was in economy, which made, where you watch the film like this. And this guy, it's the only way to get into first class, was rushed straight out of economy, and I said, I'm with him. He's not going to argue. And I care. So now I got into first class.
Did the plane have to turn back?
We had to. A maniac of a pilot said, I don't know why, this is really bad news. So eventually, I swallowed my own bowel system. And he said, I know you noticed that the sun was on the left. Now it's on the right. I thought, what, has the world imploded? He's giving Star Trek speak. So he says, we almost were in America, but we really want to scare the, pants off of this guy. So we're going back to Iceland. So when he wakes up, he's going to have a team of muskies going, mush, mush. Muskies, not muskies.
Huskies.
Huskies. Then we landed in Reykjavik, and I don't know if you've ever been to this. There's
Never been to Reykjavik.
Souvenir kind of shop where Americans now had 4 hours to shop, and they've got to consume or they'll start devouring their young. And there was nothing to buy, just a kind of dead seagull on a string. Recreate a seascape. So we're buying like shoes from each other's feet. They're so desperate to purchase an item.
You noticed that Liz Taylor's marriage number 8 is on the rocks. Were you surprised by that?
Well, I think when you meet at the Betty Ford Clinic, where you
mean Liz and Larry actually met at the drying out clinic?
You know they did.
No, I don't follow these
things. So he saw her in some of those tender moments when she's detoxing, trying to suck the varnish off a chair. And you pay $10,000 to clean your room. You actually pay. So he must have seen her in the corner, scrubbing out one of those corners with like her, the arms flapping with some makeup. And he said, hey, that's the gal for me. Can you imagine? She's never changed a Hoover bag since. She's got 10,000 people washing her underpants while they're still on her. It must have been a disappointment.
Have you ever been in one of those clinics?
I have been in a clinic.
Really?
Are you acting surprised?
Yes. Yes, I have. I mean, in what circumstances, he said tactfully, were you in one of these clinics?
Oh, well, I was filming.
Oh.
And one of the therapies, which I thought fantastic, was called horse therapy. And you had to, you were supposedly abused, and the horse was abused, and they put you together with your matching horse, and I swear to you this is true, in a pasture. I'm not kidding. I thought, who's the one that goes on the sofa, you know? Anyway, then you have to hug, and, you know, the horse, you tell the horse about what happened to you, and he tells you. My horse hated me. He was going... Swear to God. I thought, one of us is going to poop, and I'm not cleaning it up.
Have you heard about the new rival to the Barbie doll that's been marketed in Australia?
And she is something that the Australians can relate to. She smells. I don't mean that. Look, fresh as a daisy.
So,
she
Miss
has
Wax?
bodily hairs,
Yeah.
and she perspires. I didn't invent her.
Oh, so she's one of ours.
So she's one of your people that children can clutcher and identify. But I think Barbies are fantastic. You know, as long as that bimbo is 6 inches tall and can't steal your husband. And her lower half is made of plastic and firmly glued together. Keep her in a box. Keep her in a box.
Very educational, yeah. Did you notice that a pair of Nelson Mandela's shoes went up for auction, huh?
Oh, right, yes. Well, why stop there? Why not Gandhi's nose hair? Or Mother Teresa's first nappy? Why is that? Because, you know when I don't know what you did when I was young. I used to chase, you know, people chased after the Beatles.
Yeah, they wanted clips of hair.
Clips of hair and stuff. I used to go after Paul McCartney with a hacksaw. I wanted his head. Come on. We're going to get a souvenir, get a real shelf filler. George Harrison's guitar arm. Let's go for it. Come on. Don't want the lips.
You get requests to auction, give personal items so they can auction them for charity?
Yes.
So what do you give them?
My eggs. What do you give?
I give them, each of them a copy of one of my unsold books. There are a few copies. In fact, well, I keep them in a warehouse. They're actually in a disused airplane hangar on an airfield.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And I inscribe them and say, you know, with all my heart, thank you very much, Ruby Wax.
Thank you, Clive.
Once again.